Hi, I'm Dan Gable with Shore Murphy and Associates of Casey, and this is another episode of Big Agent in a Small Town. If you haven't already done so, please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube page so you can get updates on when our new videos come out every week. One really important thing as a business owner, if you own your building or buildings you do business in, is to understand the different kinds of insurance coverage available to insure your commercial buildings. And so today I just wanted to give a quick outline over those different kinds and how it can work if you have a claim. So the most common two kinds of coverage on commercial buildings is replacement cost and actual cash value. So first, replacement cost is pretty self-explanatory. With replacement cost coverage, if you have a claim, your policy will pay the actual cost to repair or replace your building up to the amount of insurance that you have on your policy. One thing with replacement cost coverage, it is required that your building, depending on the kind of policy, be insured for anywhere between 80 to 100% of the estimated cost it would take to reconstruct your building. So that can be a lot different than market value. Where we are in Central Illinois, a lot of times the market value of a building can be way less than what it would be to actually reconstruct the building if you had a total loss. So that's one thing to keep in mind, and a requirement of replacement cost coverage. So a lot of times if someone has a building they don't necessarily think they would rebuild if they had a total loss, they'll consider actual cash value coverage. What actual cash value coverage is replacement cost coverage less depreciation. So just to use round numbers, let's say that you own a 40-year-old building where the reconstruction cost is $500,000, and depreciation would be 60% of that. So a depreciated amount would be $300,000. So you'd have your building insured for $300,000 at actual cash value. If you had a total loss, your policy would pay that replacement cost less depreciation and up to $300,000. So the biggest downside of actual cash value coverage is what happens if you have a partial claim. So let's say that you had a big wind or hailstorm that caused significant damage to your building, where the repair cost would be $100,000. Instead of paying $100,000 for the actual repair cost, your policy would pay that depreciated value, let's say $60,000 or $70,000. So you'd be left to cover that extra $30,000 or $40,000 on that partial claim. So partial claims can get really costly with having the actual cash value coverage. So that's one thing to really consider when you're going to the actual cash value coverage. Just a couple other kinds of building coverage available, not as common, so just to touch on them really quickly. One is functional replacement cost. That would be let's say that you bought an older large brick building, that could be a large replacement cost, $1.5 or $2 million, something like that, let's say. And if you had a total loss, you would rebuild, but you would build with a newer construction type, a smaller building. Let's say you'd build a $500,000 building instead. You can do functional replacement costs where you would have $500,000 coverage for the kind of building you would reconstruct, and any partial claims would be paid out without depreciation as well too. So that's the benefit of that kind of policy. Other kind of building coverage you see even less is agreed value. What that is when you, the insured, and the company agree to the value of the building. So let's say you had an agreed value of $500,000. If the building burnt down or was taken down by a tornado, you would be paid that $500,000 even if the actual reconstruction costs ended up being $450,000, let's say. Like I said, that's not nearly as common. The replacement cost and actual cash value are the options you'll see most of the time on policies. If you have any questions on your commercial building coverage or any kind of building or any kind of business insurance, please reach out to me by phone or text at 217-932 2267, or by email to Dan, D-A-N, at Shore Murphy Casey, SHOREMURPHYCASEY.com. Thank you.